She looks a lot like a Maasai woman. Her name is Anut Tawi, and that's also 18th dynasty. This is Amenhotep III, the father of King Tut. This is Amenhotep III's wife.
Can you go back to
Yes, we'll go back to Amenhotep III.
Yes. Now, this is who now?
This is King Tut's father, and also Pharaoh Akhenaten's father, the founder of monotheism. Some people think he's the founder.
Yeah.
That's not true, but monotheism is older than Akhenaten.
That's another program.
That's another program.
Another program.
So this is Amenhotep III. This is Amenhotep III's wife, Queen T. Again, this was a queen that they could easily project just like Nefertiti, but no one ever sees her.
Where are these images? In the textbooks, etc.?
They're not in the textbooks. They're in the Cairo Museum, in the archives. But and she was a very important queen. Now, this is Akhenaten, the son of that king and queen, who became pharaoh and developed a brand new religion, and took Egypt in a different direction. This is his wife, Nefertiti. Now you can see why she becomes so famous. When you compare her to Nefertari or to Queen T, she looks more, she has more of the image of a European. She, in fact, according to historians, was Persian, and that she was supposed to marry Pharaoh Akhenaten's father, but he died before Akhenaten, before she could get to Egypt, and so she married the son Akhenaten instead. Now, even though she was Persian, the chances are that she was still African in the sense of race, as shown on this tomb of hers. That's also Nefertiti. Let me show Nefertiti here, and let's look at her tomb. Now, this picture of Nefertiti, we don't even know is Nefertiti for sure. It was found on the floor of an artist's workshop. But this is the most famous image of Kemet anywhere in the world.
You say artist workshop, or artist where?
In Kemet.
Oh, in Egypt, okay.
In Egypt, yes. Okay, then we have, this is the material that I was quoting, showing that, according to Moray, she was actually Persian, the daughter of a Persian king, rather than Egyptian. These are the daughters of Pharaoh Akhenaten and Nefertiti. They were said to be deformed because they have long heads. In other words, they were not normal Europeans, according to the people who said that. But here are Africans all over Africa who have the same head shape. In other words, that's the most typical head shape that you find in the African population. That's from East Africa and also from West Africa. Okay, here's King Tut, who was the brother of Akhenaten. This is the golden mask. Keep this image in mind when I show you the next slide, because the next slide will be a picture of a news advertisement for the King Tut exhibit in Los Angeles, coming out of the Los Angeles Times. Okay. I want you to show you the real thing, then I want to show you what an artist does, and that will give you an indication of why we should never accept artist sketches. We should always ask for the original document or the original carving if we can possibly see it. So here's King Tut the way he looked to his artist. Here's King Tut the way he looked to the artist in the Los Angeles Times. He's become Caucasoid. And we go back and take a look at the way he really looked. And then this is how he looked in the advertisement at the...
he becomes white.
He becomes white. And this happens frequently with the Egyptian figures as they appear in sketches. And this is the reason that we recommend against the use of sketches in textbooks. And wherever possible, we ought to have photographs. And even better than that, we ought to have the actual object. Because even in photographs, it's possible that the color is not a true rendition of the color, as I indicated with Queen T. In black and white, you really don't pick up the natural color of the statue as it appears, and it's really better to have a color picture. And then, of course, look at what's happened to King Tut by the time it gets to the children. So let's go back and look at this again. We start out with the golden mask, the way he looks. This is the way the adult population will pick it up in the advertisement in the newspaper. And this is how we will tell the children about King Tut.
So this is an example of what?
This is an example of actually changing history to deny to African people their own history and to give that African history to someone else.